okay. Come on.
That's right, and his eyes. You see his eyelashes too?
She's gonna be okay.
Oh, hold on.
Giving horses the right care. Because they give it right back.
We're getting old, aren't we?
Phillip Dutton has been coming to the Kentucky Horse Park since 1996. And having jumped clear a record 88% of the time he leaves the start box at this venue, who better to give us an inside look at Kentucky over the years as he gets ready to tackle it yet again. Phillip, you've truly watched this event transform over the years. So what sticks out in your head for you just about the evolution of this event? I mean, you've really gotten to see it in all its phases over all the years, and for you, what's most remarkable when you think back about that evolution?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly has been a great journey for the horse park, for the sport, for eventing enthusiasts. I look back on the early days when we weren't in the main arena. We were just doing it was a 4-star in those days, and then it's just growing. I remember the first 5-star. Competing here at the first 5-star, I think there was like 12 or 15 horses, and I had the plank down in the show jumping and should have won it.
Never forgot.
Nick Larkin won it, which all credit to him. But yeah, it's been the crowds have grown. It is probably as exciting to ride in front of this crowd as anywhere in the world. They know their sport, they're excited about it, and it just continues to evolve and grow. And the 5-star now stands on its own, and obviously we do have the 4-star as well. But and having lots of international riders come over, and it's just like the sport is growing. This event has kept up as well.
Well, for you personally, the first time you drove in the gates, life looked really different than it does right now, right? So take us a little bit down memory lane of, what you were like, what things were like when you first came to compete here versus what they're like today.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a long time ago, Frankie, but I was an Aussie kid that came over to America. I had a horse called True Blue Girdwood, and the first 3-day event that I took him to at Essex, I fell off twice on the cross country. Then we went to Radnor and did okay, and then came here, and this was my first 4-star in America. And like you said, driving in this magnificent horse park, it is an experience, especially for an Aussie guy coming from the outback of Australia, and I thought I'd made it if I got here. And it was a great experience. That it does raise the sport to another level, and then it's sort of I can still remember it.
So for you also personally, like, the twins weren't born yet, right, then, that year?
Correct, no. We weren't. I wasn't even married to Evie then. So,
yeah, I mean, a lot's changed. You guys have such a huge business now, and you've influenced so many riders over the years. And now for you here, obviously, coming and just as likely to be as competitive as ever, we would say. And, now your daughter's competing too, and you represent the United States. So a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's been a great journey, and we've had our ups and downs like everybody does in the sport, and it's been some certainly hard lessons learned, but then there's been some great achievements and great performances. I remember winning the 5-star here with Connaught, and our great friend Bruce Ducheswell was here to watch, and so we've got some fantastic memories, and this has become like you said, a family affair. Olivia's been dreaming about competing here all her life. She's sort of our rule in our family was you weren't allowed to come until you were 10 years of age. So she's been coming here ever since she's 10 because you
had to catch them.
We had to catch them. You didn't want to be losing them with the big crowd. So she's been here ever since she's 10 years of age. She might have missed one. She took my horse to badminton one year. But so now this is a dream come true. And Evie always plans it and makes sure that we're, behind the scenes, we're all set up.
She's getting the snacks.
She's getting the snacks
running off, making sure you guys are fed.
Make sure I'm on time to places, and it is a production.
Well, speaking of all those memories, we have a collection of a few photos, thanks to your beautiful wife, Evie, who went down memory lane for us. And we're just going to show you the photos, and you can give us some thoughts on maybe that year, maybe that horse, anything that stood out to you about Kentucky that time. So
I believe that's Came and Went, and he was owned by Annie Jones. He's a full thoroughbred by Easy Goer. And I had him since he retired from racing as a 3-year-old, and he was a great jumper, great galloper. He was always a struggle to landing into water, though. He'd kind of nearly trot every time, but I had a great record on him, and he never won here, but he was always competitive.
the things that as a rider you remember and know, but the public would never have noticed. Here's one, throwing back to the days of the top hat.
Oh,
the
okay.
dressage.
And that is...
I believe it's him as well, right?
Is that Came and Went, is it? Yeah, yeah.
In 2002.
Right, yeah. Yeah, so back in the days when the top hat was something that we all rode in, and he was a quiet horse, which was nice. I mean, he didn't have much of a trot, and that was always a bit hard to get him really competitive on the flat.
How about this one?
Okay, yeah, Fernhill Cubalon. So
This one's not that long ago.
no, that's not that long ago. He was, I think he was second here, or third or fourth, or something like that.
In
But
15.
yeah, so he was actually meant to go to the Rio Olympics and got hurt just before. But he was a great horse. Got off Alex Green, and I just clicked with him right from the get-go. And so he was a fun horse, and gave me some great experience here.
Well, this one you'll of course know, but we thought this picture was pretty hilarious because both of you look like, wow, and then he went on to win big.
So that's Connaught, and yeah, it was a great story having him. I mean, he's a fantastic jumping horse, but he was not a thoroughbred type. He was pretty slow, and he used to jump every fence like spectacular, like that.
this.
So he'd spend a lot of time in the air, and I think that our planets aligned the year he won, because I got within a second of the time, and I think we were flat out the whole way around and just got it. So, and he was a very reliable show jumper. So.
Well, how about this one?
That's Mr. Medicott. So that was not that long ago, and he'd been brought to this country by Karen O'Connor, and then she had her injury, and so I ended up getting the ride on him. And what a fantastic horse, and just a real privilege to have ridden the horse. He'd been to so many big events with other riders, and he went out of the start box and he just went for those jumps, and you just hang on.
Well, here's another one of him, of course, in the air, but
Yes.
you can appreciate kind of.
So he was struggling with injuries, literally from when I got him, and so it was always a balance of how many times I run him and make sure he got to the event nice and fit. So we'd sometimes get here a little bit underdone, but because he was so classy and such an incredible horse, he'd always pull through for me.
We've also watched the evolution of this sport, right? We've talked about some of the horses you've ridden, and they're all so different, which to me is amazing. But how do you feel like, the horse that you need here to be successful has changed from when you came in the beginning to here this year?
Well, I think that the horse that you need in general for the sport has changed. I mean, certainly the dressage is so competitive, and the cross country is, it's got to be a fast, easy to control horse on the cross country that's bold, and then in the show jumping it's got stronger as well. So they need to be, be able to jump a metre 30, metre 35 course pretty easily. It can't be a struggle for them. So, it is a special kind of sport horse nowadays, but in general, like every horse that gets to the 5-star is a special horse. Yeah. It's pretty amazing what they do.
Well, spectators near the start box and the finish line, if you've never gotten to be kind of over there, the start box in particularly, there's maybe one of the longest walks in equestrian sports, you could argue, is from the barns here to that start box. Yourself, having made that walk many times, what are the emotions like as a competitor when you're walking out there along the ropes? It's quiet, you're on. Take us through that.
Yeah, it can be a bit of a lonely sport actually, because you don't have a teammate there except for your horse, and so I guess you're nervous as hell, and you want to do your best, and you want to be on, and so Be quite honest, what and I got sort of advice early on is, and it sounds very simple, but if you just stay in the moment, and which the moment for that time is, okay, what am I going to do to get him really warmed up well? Like, and I don't think too far ahead and just sort of concentrate on what's going on at the time. And then I try to enjoy it a little bit more when it's all over, and I think back, holy hell, that was pretty cool.
We did it. Well, okay, in addition to your countless accolades, also, you are one of the select few who's won here. And it's a very small, very amazing list of people who've done that. And for you, for that moment in winning, what is it like to win at this venue? And is it even something that in the moment you can even appreciate at the time?
No, I mean, I'm not, the sport is, I don't think you can really grasp it at the time because, for me, the biggest enjoyment is looking back on it. And because at the time it's hard work, it's, the stressful, you're trying to manage, a million different things, whether it's your horse or the show jump warm up or whatever. So you don't kind of give it a lot of thought, but, certainly now I look back on it's one of the greatest achievements in my career, and to have it with Bruce Duchess while there. And he, I remember I read an interview, he didn't tell me this, but he did say it was his greatest accomplishment in horse sports, and the guy was involved in a lot of horse sports. So that was very touching.
Wow. This is an Olympic year, obviously. You've been to 7 Olympic Games, and you're vying for a spot in what would be your 8th. And what would that mean to you?
It'd be incredible. I mean, the Olympics are very special, and it's been a huge part of our lives. I think Evie and I were saying we remember people's birthdays and anniversaries by what Olympics it was, and which is pretty sad. But I'm probably not up there as much as I wanted to be. My good horse Z got hurt last year, so I've got a bunch of really nice horses now, and I've got to be pushing to get on there. But I'll try and do my best, and if it doesn't work out, there'll be another one.
Well, okay, this year is going to be Olivia's first time coming down that ramp into the big Rolex Arena to compete here. For yourself, as a 7-time Olympian, you're a very cool, I'm going to say this is my opinion, but I think many would share it, a cool, calm, and collected and consistent guy. As a parent, though, there's a lot of other emotions and feelings. Yeah. So as a competitor, we know you're that way. As a parent, what are you feeling like?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm very proud of her, and doesn't matter what happens. It's it's part of the experience and the joy of it. I mean, this is a difficult thing because of as a parent, I love my daughter immensely, and we want the best for her. But I'm also a coach, so I have to switch off and again go back to the moment. What's the best I can do to help her is to be on my game and making sure that I can support her and help her, and where that might mean shutting up and staying out of her way, or it might mean, motivating her to put him on the bit a little bit more or whatever. So, it's going to be an interesting few days. We haven't been through this at this level together. We've been to plenty of events together, and Evie's great because she can step in if she thinks I'm pushing it too much, and so it's a whole family affair.
Do you feel like at this point you finally have an appreciation for how nervous Evie's been all these years,
God.
standing on the sidelines with no control?
I totally get it now. Like it's not fun.
People always say in this sport that I wish I knew then what I know now. What advice driving in the gates would you have given to yourself if you could go back in time and talk to that guy who came first into these gates about coming to this event, and simultaneously, what advice would you have for people coming here to compete for the first time?
Well, I think you've got to be prepared for the whole atmosphere, the whole crowds, the whole the feeling that you get when you're here at the Defender 5-star, and it's a different feeling, and you've got to make sure that you stay focused on what you're here for, which is to put out the best performance you possibly can. But my advice myself to Philip is to try and enjoy it, because I probably one of my faults is that at the time I'm so focused I don't really actually enjoy the moment, and so I'm going to try to really enjoy this one.
All right, well, with an 88% clear rate cross country and all of your amazing accolades and all the ways you've gotten to show us how to be a truly remarkable rider, we are more excited than ever to get to watch you yet again here, and I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me and walk us through memory lane.
Thank you very much.